Hello, everybody. It's Mr. Cornell again. Welcome to second semester. Um, First kind of half of the class, or first day, we looked at solving one step, which again, that's what we took on at the end of last semester. So now we're going to jump into two-step. Two-step, obviously, like its name, is going to require a little bit more steps, and we'll jump right in. So it's nothing new, just adding some steps, and then we have two equations right here. We have x minus 3 equals 7 and 3x minus 6 equals 18. This is a one-step, and here's our two-step. Now, generally, a one-step, and how we can distinguish these, if we draw a line down our equal sign, our one-steps are always only going to have one number on the side that is with x. So in this case, it's a negative 3. And if you notice our two-steps, we have a negative 6, and we have that 3 there. So that's a quick identification of, okay, I've got two numbers on the same side as x. I'm going to have to do more than one step. Usually I'm going to have to do two steps, maybe more. For now, we're just going to focus on two-step. As we get further into the year, we will talk about what kind of a multi-step problem would look like. So today we're going to look at two steps. Again, I have the breakdown of the steps. So I'll erase my work here so we can go through it. I have a breakdown of what that's going to look like, and I'll kind of jump right into it. So step one, draw a line down our equal sign. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Again, it is very important to organize your work as we do this. If you organize your work, you'll probably tend to make fewer mistakes. I see a lot of mistakes happen when students' work isn't organized and they forget what number they're moving or anything like that. The more organized you are, the less of chance you have of kind of making that mistake. Step two is identify where x is at. Again, I know x is right here. It's going to be on my left side. So I'm gonna focus on this left side because I want to get everything off this left side besides that x. Step three, we're going to identify the term without x. Oh, whoops. Step two, I gotta change my color. Step three, we're going to identify the term without x, but it's on the same side of the equal sign. So in this case, I'm going to look. I am not going to pay any attention to this 2x yet because that 2 is with the x, but I do have this plus 4 here. And that doesn't have an x, and I can easily move that. And that's exactly what step 4 says, is move the term without x. And again, we're going to use our inverse operation. Nothing new here, same as one step. So if we were to move this, we see it's a plus 4. So I'm going to subtract 4. And if I subtract 4 on one side, I need to subtract 4 on the other side. And I'm going to draw my line because I'm doing a math problem here. Step 5 says bring down your x term. I haven't done anything with this 2x at all, so I'm going to bring the whole thing down. And if I go back up, 4 minus 4 is 0. That's going to cancel because we moved it to the other side. And on this side, I have negative 8 minus 4. Again, type this exactly how you see it. So you would type negative 8 minus 4 into the calculator, and you should get negative 12. That was step 5. And last but not least, step 6. We've turned this basically into a one-step problem. I've given you problems. You guys have solved problems that look exactly like this, where we have a term and an x on one side and a number on the other. In this case, my 2 and my x are right up next to each other. I know that means multiply. The opposite of multiply is going to be divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Those will cancel. I'll get x by itself. And I'll have negative 12 divided by 2. And if I type that in my calculator again, type it in exactly how you see it. You would type in negative 12 divided by 2. On the calculator, divided looks like that. On the screen, it should show up like that. Negative 12 divided by 2. Again, a negative divided by a positive is going to give me a negative. 12 divided by 2 will give me 6. So my answer is x equals negative 6. So I kind of broke that down into 6 steps. And then on the next slide, I'll show you kind of the really simplified version that breaks it into 2 steps. But I want you to notice, the first thing we did was we either add or subtract. In this case, we subtracted 4. And then my arrow's already here. The second thing we did is either multiply or divide. And I'll put another arrow there. We divided in this case. So if you get that pattern of, okay, first I need to add or subtract the number without x, and then I'm going to multiply or divide to get x by itself. That's what kind of this slide, this slide talks about. Let me move this back. That was weird. And that's what this slide talks about. Step 1, we're going to add or subtract the number without x. So in this case, this plus 4 is without x. It's add, so I need to subtract. And again, this is the same problem. Get negative 12. Those cancel. I bring down my 2x because I haven't done anything with that. Step 2, I'm going to multiply or divide to get x by itself. We know if they're next to each other like that, that means multiply. So I'm going to have to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides. I get x equals negative 6. Again, that was the same problem we just worked out. I just simplified the steps into a step 1 and step 2, hence two-step solving. Step 1 is always add or subtract. Step 2 is always multiply, which is the dot, or divide, which will look like a slash, or the fraction of x divided by. Okay, in our problems, it'll look like the fraction. On the calculator screen, it'll look like that. Calculator button, we get that. So we get 3 different signs for division, but understand all those mean the same thing. So that was our kind of quick run through of two-step equations. Again, nothing new, just adding another piece. So again, if you remember, we have to add or subtract, then we're going to multiply and divide. You guys will be A-okay. So let's go ahead and look at some examples. I'm going to do these 2 examples, and then I'll have you guys break out and do these other two on your own. I will post the answers to the other 2 if you want to check your work, but we can work through these 2 together right now. Again, we always start with drawing a line down our equal sign. I'll have 3x minus 2 equals 1. So I know, okay, x is on this left side again, so I'm going to deal with this chunk here. And if I remember, my first step was to add or subtract the number without x. In this case, my negative 2 is without x. So, and I know it's a minus, so I'm going to add 2. If I add 2 to one side, I have to add 2 to both sides. I didn't do anything with my 3x. I'm going to bring that straight down because I haven't touched that. Equals, and I have 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 should get me 3. Now I see a number and a variable stacked next to each other again. I know that means multiply. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. I ran out of room, so I'm going to put it over here. X equals. Those cancel. 3 divided by 3 should get me 1. So I get x equals 1 for that problem. Again, I added or subtracted, and then you multiply or divide, depending on what the problem has you do. For this second example, again, line down the equal sign, always the first step. Identify where x is. It's still on that left side, so I'm going to look at this left side. I have x divided by 6 plus 4 equals 3. I need to add or subtract the number without x. In this case, that is that plus 4. So if it's plus 4, opposite of plus would be subtract or minus. So I'm going to subtract. Wow, I don't know where I got 6 from. That was weird. I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. Okay, when I do that, I haven't touched my x yet, so I'm going to have x divided by 6 equals, and I have 3 minus 4 again. Type it in exactly how you see it. 3 minus 4 equals. It is okay to get a negative in math, especially in our class. We will work with negative numbers, so it is a-okay to get negative 1 there. So I have x divided by 6 equals negative 1. In that case, I have a division problem already. The opposite of divide is multiply, so I'm going to put a dot on each side. And again, I want to get x by itself, so I need to multiply what's with x. So I'm going to multiply by 6 on each side. Those will cancel. And I have negative 1 times 6 should get me a negative 6. So there are 2 problems I worked out. If you would like to take a second and jot these other 2 problems down, or I guess complete the other 2 problems on the note sheet, you're more than welcome to do that. If you're working from the note sheet, they're already there. If you're in your notebook or on a piece of paper, just jot these 2 down, work through them. And then if you want to pause the video now, after a couple of seconds, I will start working through them. So again, pause the video now, work through those, and then check your work. Okay, so welcome back, everybody. I'm going to run through these fairly quickly. I think we got the hang of it. Again, identify x. X is on my left side. I know I'm dealing with this 4x and a positive 5, so I have 5 plus 4x equals 25. I need to add or subtract the number without x. In this case, my x term is in a different spot. That's okay. I'm going to move this 5. I know it's a positive because there's nothing out here that tells me it's a negative. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. Those are going to cancel. I can bring my 4x down. I haven't touched that yet. And I have 25 minus 5 will give me 20. Divided by 4 on each side. X will give me 5. And last but not least, again, line down the equal sign. Still on the left side, working on the left side. I'm going to take a peek at this. I have, x is with this divided by negative 5. I know that. So I have to move this negative 4. If I see a negative 4, I know I need to add 4 to both sides to get rid of it. Those cancel. Draw my line. I haven't done anything with that, so I'm going to have x divided by negative 5 equals, and I have negative 4, or negative 6 plus 4. Should get me a negative 2. I have a division problem, so I'm going to need to multiply. Whoops, look, I made a mistake. We always need to multiply by what's with x. In this case, it is negative 5. So I'm going to multiply by negative 5 on both sides. Those cancel. Get x by itself. And I have negative 2 times negative 5. A negative times a negative will give me a positive. And that'll give me a positive 10. So those are the 4 practice problems. Again, you can rewatch this video, pause this video, go back and work through them. Today's assignment, if you click on it, it says it is called Solving Two-Step Pyramid. I'm going to kind of run through that and explain what that's going to look like. So you have a pyramid on your paper. Obviously, there's like more problems up here. I think there's 3 boxes that turn into 2 boxes. My art skills are fantastic. That turns into 1. So yours looks like this, and there's problems here and here and here. I have them on the other sides. But what you're going to do is anytime you see arrows pointing up, so in this case we have 2 arrows here and 2 arrows here. What that is saying is you're going to start from the bottom. So start on the row of 4. That's where you're going to start solving. You're working your way. The goal is to get up here to the top. Right now we're at the 4 problems across the bottom. These 2 problems should have the same answer. And these 2 problems should have the same answer. So when you solve these, you're going to solve across. Right? We're going to draw a line down an equal sign. You're going to solve all these problems. So what you're going to do, we can go through these 2 together. 2x plus 1 equals 9. 5% remaining. That's not good. Forgot to plug my iPad in. All right, so we have 2x plus 1. Again, our x is on our left side. We need to add or subtract the number not with x, so that's at plus 1. I'm going to subtract 1. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. I have 2x, so those cancel, equal 9 minus 1 is 8. Divided by 2 on both sides, x equals 4. So I got 4. Now, what that means is I'm going to solve this second problem here, and I need to figure out what it is. Obviously, if I solve it correctly, I should get 4. A lot of people have been stumped with this one. Let's take a look at this 6. Again, if I cover everything else up, I know there's a minus sign here. Remember, this minus sign is with our negative 3x. So technically, this 6 that we're going to move is a positive 6. So if that's a positive 6, remember, we're going to subtract 6 from both sides. So I'll give you that hint, and then you will solve the rest. So you should get x equals 4 on this problem. And again, you should get the same answer, not 4, but the same answer for the other 2 on the other side. So once you have all 4 complete, you would move up to the second 4. And here's our arrows. Okay, our 4 boxes were down here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Arrows pointing there. So our answer here was x equals 4. Hopefully you got the same thing. So that's what goes in that blank. Sorry, the announcements are coming in.
Just a reminder, as we get done with second block, all students will head to their 3B or 4H class, 4-house class, at 10:43 for advisory. No lunch starts till 11:17, so no one should go to lunch until 11:17. Teachers, please go over the lunch schedule with your students in AR so they know what time they go and also what location, cafe versus gym. But again, everyone, when the lights come on, should report to their 3B or 4th house class for AR time from 10:43 to 11:17.
Sorry about that. Announcements came on. So yes, like I was saying, so your answer from the first 2 will fill in the blank. So whatever your answer is here, x equals whatever, and x equals whatever, that answer is going to fill in this blank. So on and so on until you work your way up. Real quick, this one, this answer is going to equal a negative. This answer is going to equal a positive. They're going to be the same number. So you should get a negative 9 and a positive 9. For the top one, use a negative 9. So for the top problem, you should say 3x minus 9 equals 12. Solve this problem for your top box. And also that'll tell me who watches all the way to the end of the video. Because if you're listening to me now, you'll know this is what you need to solve. And if you skip through the video, who knows if you catch that. I hope these are helpful. Again, reach out. I'm always available on Teams. If you want to work through any assignments, any problems, I'm more than willing to help. But yes, please reach out if you need any help or have any questions. And I will see you guys soon.